I would never ask someone this loaded question like so lightly, so casually on the internet. Like, it's such a heavy question, and it's such a heavy real life situation. And I think you feel it more when you've lived through it or been through it. There are two celebrity kids to this day that I always tell Gabriel that I don't like to see them, and it's not their fault, and I feel very, very bad about it because they have nothing to do with my story, but they are part of our story. 2013, 2012, 2013, Kim Kardashian announced that she was pregnant, and so did the royal family. And their due dates were very close. It was around July 20th. She ended up having her baby early, around late June. If I'm wrong, I remember very clearly. You can look it up, but I might be wrong, but the dates are close. And then we were waiting and watching the royal baby being born. You remember? And we're like, anytime soon, our son's coming. Came all the way to America to just bring stuff back. And we prepared for our son. He's supposed to be born July 20th, which was the same due date as the other two.
Which is so funny because we met July 20th.
Yeah, June 20th.
Yeah.
So it was such a special date, and we remembered it, and we looked forward to it. I ate right. I was healthy.
We had support.
We had
Your granny
community.
Even came up.
We had everything. Family came like 2 weeks before
Had a
I was
house.
born.
Had a room for him.
Everything was ready for him. I love my kids. Thank you. And we did everything we could, being the firstborn. When my labor started, my grandmother was like, okay, just wait a couple of hours, we'll go in. And what ended up being a couple of hours turned into some deep sleep. We went to sleep, and then, go ahead.
It took a while before we got to deep sleep. Like, you were feeling the pain. Like that night, we were doing the stickers and stuff. And then that night, we got sleep, and then you woke up because you were in a bunch of pain. And so I went to Granny, and Rashgulu was there, and went and talked to them, and then Granny and you were talking. I don't know what you guys were saying. And then we ended up just getting in the car and driving to the hospital. And the one that was the closest was that cycle.
Yeah, so when we got there, like, the only thing my grandmother had given me was a prayer. And this is what makes it hard, is because we don't have closure. To this day, if someone asks me what happened, we don't know. We got there, and the doctor and the nurses, like, the look on their face, like, you can tell that something's wrong, but they're not saying it.
And I had to wait in the lobby.
Yeah, men were not allowed. Men were not allowed in the delivery room.
Maybe there's something else.
So then, my grandmother is outside, and they go to yell at her. So I'm hearing, and I'm like, what's going on? And they're telling her, what did you give her to drink? What did you give her to drink? And the only thing my grandmother gave me was a prayer. Like, did she give me anything?
I don't remember.
She didn't. So we get to the hospital. We get back.
We had an appointment like 2 days before
the
that.
The day before,
yeah.
The 24th of July, we had a checkup. And he said everything was fine, even though I was overdue.
And she was counting the kicks.
So in the labor ward, they tell Gabe. They don't tell me. They tell Gabe. They say there's no heartbeat.
I couldn't even process that.
We were both not processing. I'm looking at him, and I still remember he was wearing a blue shirt, sitting in a chair across me.
I still have that shirt.
And I'm like, what's happening? And he's like, you'll be fine, everything will be fine. I can see him crying. I'm like, what's going on? What's happening? And they start pushing like the top of my stomach, and
And then during labor, they were cutting you. And I was telling them to stop. And then they were doing everything they could to get me out of the room. Oh, this person's here. They want to see you. Bring them in.
They would cut me in the process, and I could feel everything and scream.
Yeah, there's no aesthetic or anything. So, then they were telling me the police were there.
Yeah, they're gonna arrest you.
So I said, no, bring him in. They're going to arrest me here.
And then the doctor and the nurse start to talk about their paycheck.
Well, we have time with him.
Yeah.
Just after he's out.
Yeah, after they put him out, they put him on the bed.
And he's laughing and joking about.
And then laughing, joking. So, don't go on the internet asking such heavy questions so casually because there's a lot of trauma involved.
Yeah. If you want to find out about that, say I'm new to the story.
What happened?
Or are you comfortable sharing? I think that would be a better approach than just, hey, you guys have this.
We were so young. He was such an angel. He was so handsome.
And he was. After that, we kind of weren't the same. Rachel would just be sitting outside all the time.
You've never been the same.
And I would try and process it and figure out a way to process with her. And nothing was working. We're like
zombies.
Like
literally
for like 2
zombies.
weeks. Everyone was coming. Everyone came out from everywhere to come see us. And that made it even harder. You know, they wanted to show their support, but it was still, we're trying to process it ourselves, and then we have to keep reliving the conversation because they're asking what happened, which makes it even harder. It'd be better, in my eyes, is if people just said, hey, let me know if I can do something. Or let me know if you're comfortable.
It's a different way to mourn, and it was
Yeah.
very challenging because we didn't have time to mourn.
There was times I didn't even want to come out. I didn't want to come out and see the people. It wasn't anything against them. It was just horrible timing. So, but I mean, everyone processes it different. I mean, maybe it was okay with you, but I got to a point where I was like, I don't need to see 35 people doing this. I'm trying to process it.
And then you would see like baby clothes and baby stuff and all that.
Even
and
his
it would
room.
just be traumatizing.
Couldn't even go in his room.
We still have his stickers up. We've never taken them down. We still have everything up the way we arranged it for his nursery at our house. So, again.
It's so much fun doing that.
Yeah. Again, just don't go asking questions on the internet.
On something sensitive like that, try and have empathy, I would say.
I found this one today. This one brought me to tears before I started recording. It breaks me every time.
There's nothing that gets better with it either.
No.
It doesn't go away. You just find a way to deal with it. But every year it comes around that, it still comes back. The feelings come back. So. And then we have Coop around his birthday too. And we have my birthday around there. My birthday was like it didn't even exist because we were still processing everything. Everyone was telling us, go take a trip, get your mind off of it, go do this, go do that. We finally ended up doing it, but it still was... That is the hardest thing I've ever done in my life.